Hello, everybody. Steve Politi, joined by Tom Luicci, the, I don't know if I can call you esteemed anymore, Rutgers beat writer.
Beleaguered.
Beleaguered Rutgers beat writer.
Beleaguered.
Hey, at least Rutgers knows this. Not as bad as the Mets right now. Looking at the positives, and we should try to keep things positive here. It could be worse.
Yeah, but they haven't lost to Morgan State yet. So let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what happens.
Now they are going to beat Morgan State, aren't they? I mean,
I don't know. Why would they beat Morgan State? What have they shown you so far that indicates they're ready to win a football game?
Not much. Where do you want to start? You want to start with, everybody's talking about the quarterback. I thought that Greg should have taken some disciplinary action on Mike Teal. I don't know if it means benching him for the game or benching him for a series, but it also would have been an opportunity to get another quarterback in. They have to work at another quarterback this week, wouldn't you say?
I think they're going to, and I think they will. But, getting back to the Teal thing, there's two things about it in my mind. I think Mike has built up enough equity as a leader and the way his work ethic and the way he conducts himself that, you have to say this was out of frustration. We'll give him a pass on that. And the other thing is I've watched that clip about 10 times. It's a very brief, quick clip. We don't know exactly what Glenn Lee said to Mike Teal.
Right,
He may, everybody says, the company line is he was offering encouragement. If you watch that clip, it could be interpreted a lot different. But, so I don't know. I mean, that's no excuse from what Mike did. And you'd wish he hadn't done that. But like I say, he's a kid who's built up a lot of equity with his work ethic and his leadership. Right. So I think you give him a pass.
And he's a nice case, the kind of kid you root for. Unfortunately,
absolutely, his
first incomplete pass, if he throws a kid in the first drive at Morgan State, he's gonna hear the boos. And
yeah, if there's any people there.
It's
supposed to be terrible weather, and and it's Morgan State, right. And they're 0-3, possibly going on 0-7, yeah. Maybe 0-8. Who knows? I mean, you don't know where this is going to end. I mean, this is a bad spiral right now that they're in. And one of the things is I think, again, getting back to Teal, but not laying it all on Teal, is that part of the reason in my mind is that this team doesn't have good leadership. Right. I think Greg thinks it's great leadership. I think part of the problem is when your leaders are not most of your leaders, not all of them, but most of them are not having good seasons. Right. They're all talk. Yeah. Mike Teal, Tyquan Underwood, sure. Courtney Green. Now, Pete Davidoff has had a good season. He's just been hurt, and Malice has made a lot of tackles. But for the most part, their leaders are not having good seasons. So the younger kids are looking at them saying, they're all talk.
And this is a team that used to have its best leaders were its best players, from Brian Leonard to Ray Rice. I mean,
to Eric Foster.
Eric Foster. These guys always had good seasons.
Right. When they were down, they were leaders. They went out and made plays. Right. They showed you. They led by example on the field. These guys haven't done it. I mean, Tyquan's had a bad year, and Mike's had a bad year, and Courtney Green has not had a good year, and, it goes on down the line.
Let's start with the big leader. And this is the third straight game, I think, that Rutgers was out-coached in the second half, which is a really poor trend. I mean, they go into the locker room, they come back out, and Navy outplays them. Navy starts running the ball, starts moving up and down the field. At this point, what can you say about Greg Schiano's ability to coach? Are we learning something about him that maybe while he can build a program, he hasn't proven yet that he can coach the team?
I think it's a valid point at this stage of his career, and I think after 8 years, we're starting to get a little bit of I think there's enough proof there or enough evidence there to draw some kind of conclusion. And you would think within 10 years, he'd have them contending for the Big East title. It's not going to be this year, obviously. At what point do you say, hey, how much time is enough time?
Mm-hmm. Right. And now we're looking at Morgan State game. You say they're going to try to break in another quarterback. Who is that going to be, and what can you expect to see from him?
It'll be Chris Paul. We may see a little Natalia. I think Chris Paul, being a third-year sophomore, has to start playing. We have to see what he can do. He's thrown 3 career passes, I think, and we just haven't seen him in game action. So it's time to see him. He may be the future, or he may be the stopgap for next year until D.C. Jefferson and/or Tom Savage come in to take over. So I think you need a solid stopgap for next year, and Chris Paul has to show whether he's going to be it or not.
Right. Now, why wouldn't they try a D.C. Jefferson? Why wouldn't they? I mean, is he just not ready? I mean, this kid came in with, at some point they're going to have to work in the young players. This kid came in with a big reputation, a big arm. Everybody's seen that. Why not give him a chance?
Because he's going to need a year to understand the offense. I don't think there's any question about that. It's been very difficult. I don't think it worked out with Ryan Hart when they threw him in as a true freshman, 7, 8 games into the season. That didn't help Ryan Hart's career. I think, he would have liked to have that year back. So with DC, they do have a 5th-year senior quarterback, that they thought he's going to be the career passing leader. you know, let's see. And I think they're thinking, let's stay with him, and DC's time will come next year.
It really is amazing we're talking about these things. When you look at the Big East, it's just, you think it's wide open, too. They haven't lost the Big East game yet.
Right.
Well, you look at the way things are going, I don't see a team that's great. I mean, Connecticut right now, 4-0 with Donald Brown. I mean, they might be the best team in the Big East.
Your pick, South Florida.
My pick, South Florida, exactly. I'll stick with them for now.
Yeah, I mean, they're still the best team in the league, I think.
Right.
You know, because they have the most weapons, they have the best players, but they seem to implode.
Yeah.
You know, they have historically under Jim Levitt, so we'll see if they can sustain it. But
do you want to pick a score this week, or do you want to pick the attendance this week? Which number do you think is a more important number?
I think I'm gonna get both of them in one shot.
Okay.
24-14 Morgan State, and 24-14 will be the attendance.
24-14. So you're going with Morgan State this week. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bears.
Well, I'm going to have to pick Rutgers again. Rutgers would be 4-0 if they just listen to me. I'm going to go 35-10. Well, you're going with Morgan State.
I have been right all year.
Yeah,
I'm 0 for 3. I picked Rutgers to win 3 straight games. They were favored 3 straight. Wow. You know, why start now? Why start being right now?
That's a good theory, and one that we should close this show with. Steve Politi, Tom Luicci, signing off again. Thanks for watching.